So Fox News is going to go completely against free speech in this clip. Let me show you this clip and then we'll talk about why that is. Take a look.
Captain America on how America is built on lies. You got to hear this. Here's the quote. Here's the thing about a dream, though. A dream isn't real. I'm starting to think America actually has two dreams and one lie. The first American dream is the one that isn't real. Is some people expect just to be handed to them, and then they get angry when it disappears. When the truth is, it never really existed in the first place. It doesn't get along nicely with reality. Other culture immigrants. The poor, we're at our best when we keep no one out. A good dream is shared radically, shared with everyone. When something isn't shared, I can become the American lie. I think this is such terrible rhetoric. I mean, it is true that we didn't live up to our documents, but the documents weren't flawed. It was the human beings, right?
So if the documents had to be amended, then the documents were flawed. That's why they had to be amended. But anyways, let's keep going.
Yeah. I mean, Lawrence, it sounds like Captain America may need a demotion to lieutenant after that speech. But this is what happens when you allow left-wing activists to write your comic books.
Should we not allow left-wing activists to write comic books? That sounds like censorship. That sounds like the suppression of your opposition. Interesting. Let's hear that from him again.
Motion to lieutenant after that speech. But this is what happens when you allow left-wing activists to write your comic books. And it reflects a kind of march through our cultural institutions, comic books, schools, and indoctrinating our kids to believe that kind of nonsense. But this is what happens when you allow left-wing activists to write your comic books.
When you allow, as though we could just not allow left-wing activists to write comic books. There it is. It's very subtle. The propaganda, the advocacy for censorship here is very, very subtle, but it needs to be exploited because and it sucks that I'm like the only one on YouTube that's like doing this kind of stuff. That's pointing out the subtle, I guess, dog whistling, I think that's the term, where you are trying to push a narrative, but you don't explicitly say it. You're not explicitly saying, let's just censor Captain America, right? You're not explicitly saying it. What you say is, this is what happens when you allow left-wingers to write our comic books. But you're saying the same thing, right? You're still saying the same thing. This is unfortunate. Censorship should not be allowed, full stop. Full stop.